Hello everybody, Crow here, and this is a video response to Sandomtod's what is your least favorite console tag video. Now he put up this tag video like 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago I was on vacation. Now I happened to watch the video, but there was no way I could make a response. So I was like, you know what, when I get back from vacation I'm going to make a response video to this. And then I came back from vacation and I was busy the next couple days, and then I had a sort of incident occur, and I can't really get into what that was now. I may reveal what happened, but I've been really super busy. I haven't been able to do much of anything recently. And in fact, today I was like, I got home from work and I'm like, I'm going to make this video now, and I got a message. My mother-in-law stopped by and she was just here for the past hour, and I'm like, oh man, I'm never gonna get to make this video. But I finally did it. I'm finally filming this now. And basically it's, you know, Sandomtod, he always hears about what people's favorite systems are, what their favorite games are. So he was curious what our least favorite consoles were. And his was the Nintendo 64, and I really can't argue with him on that. The Nintendo 64 is one of my... let me put it this way, it's my least favorite kind of popular video game system. There's a lot of people that like the Nintendo 64. In fact, some people, it's their favorite system. And to me, it seems like it's just when you grew up. If you were a kid growing up with the Nintendo 64, it seems like that is where you would like that system. Whereas me, I had been out of high school. I was actually in the Air Force when the PlayStation came out and the Nintendo 64, and I gravitated more to the PlayStation side. And I honestly had a Nintendo 64, and there were only a couple of games on it I liked. I didn't like the controller. I didn't like the way the graphics looked, and I actually got rid of it a couple months after having it. When I had the PlayStation all the time, I would only play the PlayStation and not the Nintendo 64. And then we had, there's Retro Gamer VX who put a video response to this, and he said that he didn't like his least favorite was the PS1, and to each his own. But from my point of view, it's hard to say, oh, you don't like the PS1, but you like the Nintendo 64, because to me it's totally the reverse. I love the PS1 and hate the Nintendo 64. And then there was Steve Benway who put up a system you can't argue with, Game.com. I have one of those too, and yes, that indeed sucks very, very much. But you know what? I have a system here. It's my least favorite, and I don't think there's anybody that can argue with me saying, oh, that's a good system, oh, you're crazy. Nothing like that. I kind of looked in the comments of his video. No mention of this system at all. This system really does suck I want to say for various reasons, but there's one really major thing I hate about this system, and I'll get to that. But what is the system I'm talking about? It's this thing. It's the Apple Pippin, or the Apple Bandai Pippin, which is what this is. Now, if you're unfamiliar with, it doesn't say Apple anywhere on this, but this is Apple's child, and basically it was open source. Bandai actually made this version of it. The idea was that Apple basically put together the internals, and I guess it was up to other companies to release this thing under their own brand flagship. Kind of like how they did it with the 3DO. You have got the Panasonic 3DO, the Gold Star 3DO, and a couple others I can't think of at the moment. But this thing works. This is the Japanese version. My wife got this for me for a present because it was a system I didn't have. I got it complete in the box. It came with 6 CDs. And after having the system for 1 or 2 years, I can't exactly remember how many years I had this for. I think I've had this for 2 years. My biggest complaint with this system is I can't find any damn games for it. There were only 18 games released in the U.S. for the Apple Pippin. There were less than 80, I think, in Japan. I couldn't, and you know what, there was one auction on eBay I was going to bid on. It was like a game called Racing Days or something, and it was going for around $30. Like, yeah, I'll bid around $30 just so I could have one game on the Pippin. And sure enough, seconds before the auction ended, it skyrocketed to $180 some. So not only are the games super expensive for this thing, and I'm not really willing to shell out the money for it, the games also look like crap. Go ahead, look up Apple Pippin games on YouTube. See the footage. Racing Days doesn't look particularly spectacular, but I just wanted to have one game for it. But then you're wondering, why don't you just download the games? Well, I did find some torrents with, Apple Pippin games. Those torrents are going so slow. In fact, it literally took me about 3 months on cable modem to download one of them. Now I just finished, so I haven't exactly been able to unzip it and see what was in it or anything, or what ISOs were in there, but I basically have to burn a bunch of discs and try them out, and I might do that sometime in the future. Well, I will do that sometime in the future. I'm curious to see what these games are. Another odd thing, and where is it? Oh, the power cord for this thing. This is the only power cord I've seen where you have got the 2 prongs, but for some reason there's no ground on it, and they put this extra little ground wire on the side of it. That's very, very bizarre. I don't know what they did. Now, that's a minor gripe, but I've never seen a cable like that before. And then finally we got the controller, which is known as the Applejack controller. Now you might be wondering, what the hell is going on here? We got the D-pad, you got the 4 buttons here. You've got a trackball in the middle. Why? Because they expected people to want to surf the internet on this thing, which of course they didn't. I guess the thing was like $500 or $600 upon release, and if you already had a computer, you didn't need this to surf the internet. It's got like a dial-up modem on it. You know what? I don't even see a jack for it, so who knows? Yeah, I don't even see a jack for it. It probably has to have some kind of adapter for this thing. Yeah, the software I have, the 6 discs, they're all demos, not really games. I don't even know where I can go on for this. They expected people to want to surf the internet on this thing. So, and then they released it, and they never really marketed it. It was a super expensive system. It was just doomed to fail. I mean, look at the top of this thing. They wanted it to be a media center. It had the play buttons and all these other buttons on top there. Basically, this is a Power PC. In fact, it says Power PC. They took the Power PC internals and threw it into this box, called it a game system, and didn't really release that many games for it. Again, back to the controller, it's not really that comfortable to hold. You're holding it like this. I guess it's not too bad, but these trigger buttons are like way too close to each other. My fingers will sometimes like touch and hit each other. You have the trackball on here for supposedly internet browsing. You got a couple buttons on the bottom of the controller. To me, it doesn't feel. It seems really tiny. These buttons here, they seem really tiny. But yeah, my least favorite system is the Apple Pippin, and primarily because the games that are for it suck, and I can't really get any of them without paying out through the nose for them. So there you go. I doubt anybody can argue with me and say, hey, you know what? Game.com is worse. Well, I have a Game.com, and I'd say it's not worse because there's at least games on it I can play. May not play very well, but at least I could play them. CDI, same thing. I'd put that lower than the Nintendo 64, but again, it has games I could play, and I got some amusement out of some of those crappy FMV games. So yeah, I mean, at least I'm entertained by the system. This system, again, Bandai Pippin. I've had this thing for 2 years. Not 1 ounce of enjoyment out of this thing. That's why it's my least favorite. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.
Authorities don't know Shinola from that other stuff.